Welcome to On the Origin of Legendary Species, a series dedicated to the study of creatures born from myth, folklore, fantasy, and imagination. Each episode, we examine a single legendary being, its origins, its traits, its enemies, and the cultural forces that shaped its legend. From ancient gods and dragons to cryptids, monsters, and icons of modern fiction, this is a natural history of the unreal. The Androsphinx is one of humanity's most enduring symbols, a creature of stone and story, of intellect and instinct fused into a single, eternal form. It has the body of a lion and the head of a human, and from that impossible combination rises something far greater than a monster. The Androsphinx is not merely a beast of myth. It is a guardian of eternity, a symbol of kinship, a riddle incarnate, and a silent witness to thousands of years of human civilization. The term Androsphinx comes from the Greek language, distinguishing this human-headed form from other sphinx variants such as the Criosphinx with a ram's head or the Hyracossphinx crowned with a he. D of a falcon, but it is the Androsphinx, the human-faced lion, that has burned itself most deeply into the human imagination. When we think of a sphinx, we think of that solemn, forward-facing gaze set above powerful leonine haunches. We think of stone worn smooth by desert wind. We think of something ancient watching us, and nowhere is that image more powerful than on the Giza Plateau. The Great Sphinx of Giza stretches across the Egyptian sands at over 70 meters in length and roughly 20 meters in height. Carved directly from the limestone bedrock during Egypt's Old Kingdom, most scholars attribute its construction to the reign of Pharaoh Khafre around 2500 BCE. Its face is widely believed to represent the pharaoh himself, though erosion and damage have softened its features over time. The nose is gone, its ceremonial beard broken away, yet the presence remains overwhelming. It faces the eastern horizon, eternally watching the rising sun. In ancient Egypt, the Sphinx was not a monster. It did not stalk travelers or whisper riddles. It was a manifestation of divine kingship. The lion's body symbolized strength, dominance, and solar power. The human head, often that of the ruling pharaoh, symbolized intellect, consciousness, and divine authority. Combined, they created a theological statement in stone. The ruler is both human and godlike, a being of wisdom and unstoppable force. The Egyptians believed their pharaoh was the living embodiment of Horus' hand, in death, united with Ra, the sun god. The Sphinx, aligned with the rising sun, reinforced this connection. It was not merely a statue, but a cosmic symbol. The pharaoh as eternal guardian of order, or Mat, standing against the forces of chaos. In a civilization obsessed with stability, continuity, and the afterlife, the Sphinx became a protector of tombs, temples, and sacred causeways. Rows of sphinxes lined temple entrances, forming ceremonial avenues that pilgrims would walk beneath the watchful gaze of hybrid guardians. To pass between sphinxes was to move from the ordinary world into sacred space. But myth does not remain static. When Greek travelers encountered Egypt, they carried its imagery back across the Mediterranean, and something profound changed. In Greek mythology, the Sphinx becomes something altogether different. No longer male and regal, she is often depicted as female, winged, and predatory. The guardian becomes a challenger. The silent watcher becomes a speaker of riddles. And instead of protecting order, she tests it. The Greek Sphinx haunted the city of Thebes. Sent by the gods, sometimes said to be here, she perched upon a rocky outcrop outside the city gates. There she demanded that all who passed answer a riddle. Those who failed were strangled and devoured. Her presence was a plague upon the city, a crisis that could not be solved by sword or spear. A riddle has echoed through centuries. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? The answer, as Oedipus famously declares, is man. As an infant, he crawls on 4 limbs. As an adult, he walks upright on 2. In old age, he relies upon a cane as a 3rd support. With the riddle answered, the Sphinx throws herself from her perch and dies. The monster is defeated not through strength, but through understanding. In this transformation from Egypt to Greece, we see a cultural shift in how power and knowledge are perceived. The Egyptian Sphinx represents stable authority and divine order. The Greek Sphinx represents uncertainty, intellectual trial, and the danger of ignorance. One stands as monument, the other moves as myth. Yet beneath both versions lies a shared truth. The Sphinx is a threshold being. It occupies liminal space, the border between human and animal, between civilization and wilderness, between ignorance and insight. It guards transitions, tomb entrances, temple gates, city boundaries, psychological turning points. The Sphinx asks, in one way or another, whether you are ready to proceed. That liminality gives the Sphinx its enduring psychological power. It represents the tension between instinct and intellect. The lion is raw strength, appetite, dominance. The human face is reason, morality, self-awareness. Together they form a paradox. Power without wisdom is destructive. Wisdom without power is ineffective. The Sphinx embodies the balance required to rule, whether a kingdom or oneself. Across centuries, variations of the Sphinx appear in Persia, Mesopotamia, and beyond. Hybrid guardian figures, part human, part animal, stand at palace gates and sacred thresholds. These beings share a common function, to ward off evil and signal authority. They remind all who approach that power resides here, and it is vigilant. In medieval Europe, the Sphinx re-emerges in bestiaries and cathedral carvings, often stripped of its ancient context and reinterpreted through Christian allegory. Sometimes it becomes a symbol of mystery or temptation. Sometimes it is conflated with other chimeric creatures. Yet, even in altered form, the core image remains compelling. During the Renaissance and Enlightenment, renewed fascination with Egypt brought the Sphinx roaring back into cultural consciousness. Scholars, artists, and occultists became captivated by its aura of hidden knowledge. The Sphinx came to symbolize secrets buried beneath time. Masonic imagery adopted it. Romantic poets referenced it. Archaeologists speculated about chambers hidden beneath its pores. Even today, theories swirl around the Great Sphinx. Some claim it predates the Old Kingdom by thousands of years. Others argue that water erosion suggests a far older civilization. Fringe theories speak of lost continents and forgotten cataclysms. While mainstream archaeology remains cautious, the very persistence of these theories speaks to the Sphinx's power. It invites speculation. It seems older than history itself. Its face, eroded yet watchful, feels like it knows something we do not. In modern fantasy literature and gaming, the Sphinx often blends its Egyptian and Greek aspects. It may be regal and benevolent, dwelling in desert ruins as a keeper of ancient lore. Or it may test heroes with riddles that reveal character rather than mere intelligence. Sometimes it is immortal and inscrutable. Sometimes it is stern but fair. Rarely is it mindless. The Sphinx is almost never depicted as stupid. That, perhaps, is its greatest departure from other mythic beasts. Dragons hoard treasure. Trolls lurk beneath bridges. Werewolves rage beneath the moon. But the Sphinx questions. It challenges. It forces confrontation not with claws, but with thought. Psychologically, the Sphinx can be seen as the embodiment of self-knowledge. The Greek riddle about the stages of human life is not merely a puzzle. It is an invitation to contemplate mortality. To pass the Sphinx's test is to acknowledge the arc of existence, birth, strength, decline, and accept it. Oedipus solves the riddle, but his life remains tragic. Knowledge alone does not guarantee happiness. It simply opens the gate. The Great Sphinx itself has endured sand burial, restoration attempts, vandalism, and centuries of desert wind. Napoleon's soldiers are often blamed for destroying its nose, though historical evidence suggests it was damaged earlier. Legends claim it was broken by iconoclasts who feared its ancient symbolism. Whether through human action or erosion, the missing nose has become part of its mystique. The incomplete face feels like a metaphor for lost knowledge. And yet, incomplete though it is, the Sphinx remains. It has watched empires rise and fall. It has seen the construction of pyramids and the march of armies. It has endured as religion shifted and languages changed. It has become one of the most photographed and recognized monuments on Earth. In a world obsessed with movement and speed, it embodies stillness. The Sphinx does not pursue. It does not chase, it waits. That waiting may be its most unsettling quality. Predators typically stalk or ambush. The Sphinx remains in plain sight, utterly confident. It assumes you will approach. It assumes curiosity will bring you to its feet. And when you stand before it, whether carved in limestone beneath the Egyptian sun or imagined in the mind's eye upon a rocky crag outside Thebes, it asks something of you. Not merely a clever answer. Understanding. Are you aware of your nature? Do you know your strengths and your limitations? Can you balance instinct and reason? Can you face the passage of time without flinching? The Sphinx is not satisfied with ignorance. It does not tolerate arrogance. It is the guardian of thresholds precisely because it forces transformation. To pass it unchanged is impossible. Perhaps that is why the image persists across millennia. Humanity continues to grapple with the same questions. What are we? What is power? What survives time? How do we reconcile our animal nature with our capacity for thought? The Androsphinx embodies those questions in stone and story. It is the union of mind and muscle, king and beast, eternity and mortality. It is the silence before revelation. It is the riddle carved into the horizon. And long after our own civilizations crumble into sand, perhaps some future traveler will stand before its weathered form and feel the same sensation that ancient pilgrims felt. The weight of being watched by something older than memory. The Sphinx will not move. It will not blink. It will simply wait. And somewhere in the wind across the desert, you might almost hear it ask its question once more. Not about the world, but about you. You've been listening to On the Origin of Legendary Species. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing and exploring our collections, from dragons and cryptids to gods, demons, and creatures of science fiction. New episodes are released weekly, each examining a single legendary species in depth. Until next time, remember, legends do not disappear, they evolve.